What's going on, guys? This is for the fans. It's the World of Football show, Euro edition. It's England versus Croatia match preview. My match prediction is either a draw or England to win it. Not because England are the better team, but because England got more firepower on the top of the field. Croatia are the better footballing team, and that's what you will see in this game. You will see Croatia being much better on the ball. You'll see Croatia knowing exactly what they're doing on the ball. You'll see Croatia having the ability to play 1 and 2 touch football, whereas you'll see England having 3-4 touches before they move the ball. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, don't be like that. Subscribe right now so you can see more content of this quality. You'll see Croatia moving into spaces much more freely, and you'll see England much more static. Because England are not a very good coached team, you know, and their fans will be, and their supporters will be the first people to tell you that the coaching level at England is not good. And that's why, you know, a lot of the fans don't really like Gareth Southgate. And for me, I was surprised at Gary Neville coming out the other day and Gary Neville saying that Gareth Southgate is the right man to lead England in the Euros and going forward. And I'm shocked because every time I've seen Gareth Southgate manage this England team, you know, there's questions, and the supporters on social media, you know, you see them vexed about the team lineup and so forth, because the guy, his squad selection, this first starts off with his formation. The formation is a negative formation. He plays 5 at the back. The team selections are skeptical. You know, he leaves out players like Grealish, players like Foden, and he prefers Marcus Rashford and Raheem Sterling and so forth. So there's a lot of things that you can question Gareth Southgate, and that's why when I heard Gary Neville supporting Gareth Southgate, saying that he is the right man to lead England, I was surprised. I was honestly surprised. But we will see, guys. We will see how it pans out for England during this tournament. But for this game against Croatia, I do think that England have the ability to win this game. As I said, not because they are the better footballing team, but because they got more firepower up on the top end of the field. Now let's go into Croatia's team. As to why I say that they may draw this game or lose this game is because Croatia have a good defense. They've got a world-class midfield, but they've got no firepower. The firepower on the top of the field, that's where they're lacking. They got Kramaric, who to be fair to him, he scored many goals in the Bundesliga. He scored 20 goals in the Bundesliga, but still he's not that player to go there and put a team like England to the sword. They've got Ivan Perisic, who's 32 years old now. He's well past his best. I've seen him playing the other games, the friendly games, a couple days ago, and you can see he's lost a yard of his pace. He's still a quality footballer, but he's lost a yard of his pace. So I just feel that Croatia, you know, they are the better footballing team, as I said. You'll see them pass the ball better. You'll see them keep possession of the ball better. I watched them against Belgium in the friendly, and for the first probably 6-7 minutes of the game, Belgium could not get a touch of the ball. I kid you not. They could not touch the ball. They could not touch the ball. Croatia was so good. They're pressing. You can see they've got organized pressing. They know exactly how to press. When they're in possession, they know exactly what they're doing with the ball. They know where their teammates are. The spaces from one player to another is the exact spaces that it needs to be to make those passes that they make in order to play 1 and 2 touch football. So they are a well-coached, well-drilled team, but they don't have firepower. They lack firepower. I expect their midfield to dominate England's midfield because they've got a better midfield than England. Because not a better midfield than England, they've got a better midfield than the midfield Gareth Southgate puts out. Gareth Southgate puts out, and this is why I'm saying it. This is because have a look at the team selection that I would put out for England. Now that's the team selection and the team shape that I would put out for England, because England, there's a problem with their defense and there's a slight problem with their midfield. But how you can solve that problem in the midfield is by playing 4-3-3 with 3 midfielders. You play Declan Rice at the base, being the holding midfielder. This guy must not go forward at all. No matter what's happening in the game, he must not go forward. Then you play Jack Grealish and Mason Mount on the side of him as 2 number 10s. And if England had to play this midfield, I do believe that it's a good enough midfield to take them far in the competition. I do believe that. But it's not a midfield that Gareth Southgate plays. Gareth Southgate won't play that, because that is a very expansive midfield. It's in a very attacking midfield who, when they don't have the ball, they can get bypassed. They can get bypassed because they're 2 number 10s and they're not known for their defending, they're known for their attacking. So the minute England don't have the ball, if they play in that formation and those personnel, the minute they don't have the ball, they can get overrun in the midfield, because those 2 number 10s are not good in defending. However, if you look at the lineup that I put out, I went to 4-3-3 and I played a back 4 and I put Luke Shaw as a left back position. The reason why I said Luke Shaw as a left back, Luke Shaw is better defensively than Ben Chilwell. Chilwell is better going forward. His attacking game is much better than Luke Shaw. He's got a better end product than Luke Shaw. But in defending, Luke Shaw is far better than him. And if you play in 2 number 10s, you don't need your fullbacks to go forward like that. You don't need them to bomb forward in every opportunity and leave space in behind. You don't need that, because you're playing with 2 number 10s who the creative onus is on them. And Mason Mount and Jack Grealish can create, especially with Jack Grealish. That guy, I would say, needs to go to a big team. And once he makes that transition to a big team, I think he will get the world-class status, because his talent is there. It's just that he's playing for Aston Villa, and it's hard to get recognized as world-class when you're playing for Aston Villa and small clubs. So if you play into 2 number 10s, you don't need your fullbacks to bomb forward, and that's why I picked Luke Shaw. I would just tell Luke Shaw to stay behind. At the opportune time, go forward, but more often than not, I need you to be behind the ball. Same with Kyle Walker. I'll communicate the same message to Kyle Walker, because the creative onus needs to be on the 2 number 10s, so that when England does lose the ball, they're not vulnerable to counter-attacks, because they've got a back 4 and they've got 1 holding midfielder, so they've got 5 players that they're defending with. Worst case scenario, they're defending with 4 players. They're defending with 4 players, 3 at the back and 1 holding midfielder. That's if one of the fullbacks go up. So I would just tell the fullbacks, you know what, both of y'all must not attack at the same time. If Kyle Walker goes forward, Luke Shaw stays behind. If Luke Shaw goes forward, Kyle Walker stays behind. In that way, we guarantee to have 4 players defending at all times. Guaranteed. Guaranteed to have that, so you're not vulnerable to counterattacks. That's what I would do to supplement the defensive frailties of having 2 number 10s. And if you're playing with Jack Grealish and Mason Mount as 2 number 10s, then you'll see my forward line. I still stuck with Marcus Rashford on the left wing, because I still think that Rashford, you know, he had an okay season with Man United. His numbers don't suggest that. His numbers suggest that he had a world-class season with Man United, but us Man United fans, we know that Marcus Rashford was performing in moments, and that's what he does do. So Rashford can give you those moments. I still wouldn't take him out the England team. I still wouldn't take him out. I would leave him there on the left wing, because he can give you a moment that the other players may not be able to give you. And it just depends which Marcus Rashford pitches up. That's all. If the proper Marcus Rashford that we all know pitches to the field, then you know you've got a performer there. So Rashford on the left wing, we know Kane as a striker. We don't need to say anything about Kane. He's one of the best strikers in this tournament, if not the best striker in this tournament. And then on the right wing, I said Phil Foden, because Phil Foden, you can go with Phil Foden. It's Phil Foden, Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling on the right wing. I would never ever play Raheem Sterling. On the season that Raheem Sterling had with Manchester City, he was the worst player for Manchester City. By far, the worst player. He's not having a good period in his career. Maybe Gareth Southgate will give him an opportunity, a fresh start, a blank sheet to say, you know, show me that you can reciprocate your old performances. I don't believe so, because I just don't believe Raheem Sterling is a very good player. So I will go with Phil Foden ahead of even Jadon Sancho and Raheem Sterling, because I do believe Foden is better than Sancho. I do believe that Foden got more talent than Jadon Sancho, and he's just a better footballer than Jadon Sancho. So I would go with Phil Foden, and that's the lineup that I would choose. However, We know the manager will never do that because he's a pragmatic manager. He is what I would say is a negative manager that does not want to play free-flowing attacking football. Rather, he wants to play counter-attacking and pragmatic football. So this is the lineup that I'm very sure Gareth Southgate will select for England. So I don't think there's any debates on the formation Gareth Southgate is going to pick. We know he plays with 3 centre-backs, he plays with wing-backs, he plays with 2 holding midfielders, and he only plays with 3 attacking players. And that's why I say he's a negative manager. Any manager that's playing with 2 holding midfielders and only 3 attacking players, I'm sorry, you're negative. That's why we say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is negative, because he plays with 2 holding midfielders. So that's more that we know that's the formation England are going to play with. It's just a case of whether Harry Maguire is fit enough to start. I don't think England will rush him to start because he is coming back from injury. Yes, he has been involved in training with the squad as of late, but I don't think they'll rush him back, and I don't think they'll rush Henderson back as well, because they need these players. They need these players for the next games and going into the latter stages of the tournament. So I do believe that will be England's back 3. It's a back 3 that's skeptical, and to be honest with you, even if you include Harry Maguire, it's still a skeptical back 3, because Harry Maguire, John Stones, Kyle Walker, they all make mistakes. They all make mistakes, they all get caught out of position, and with Kyle Walker and John Stones, they make more mistakes than Harry Maguire. More mistakes. John Stones is the only reason he was looked at Manchester City right now as being a very good defender was because of Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz was carrying John Stones. We know who John Stones is. We know the performances that he puts out. We know his level. Ruben Diaz made him look better than what he really is. And that's what a world-class centre-back does. It's the same thing with Virgil van Dijk at Liverpool. Virgil van Dijk makes Matip, makes Joe Gomez, and when they had Lovren, made Lovren look world-class, because that's what a world-class centre-back does. And that's why I get onto Harry Maguire's case, because Harry Maguire came to Manchester United and he did not improve any centre-back that plays next to him. In actual fact, he makes the centre-backs look worse than what they really are. He makes Victor Lindelof look worse than what he really is. And that's why I will never rate Harry Maguire as a transfer that we made. He's a good centre-back, but Manchester United did not pay 80 million for a good centre-back. You pay 80 million for the best centre-back, or at minimum a world-class centre-back, and Harry Maguire is not that. So even when England play Harry Maguire, John Stones and Kyle Walker, which is their preferred back 3 centre-backs that they will play, it's still not a good partnership. It's still not a good back 3, because they all make mistakes. And then I assume that he will not risk Jordan Henderson. So I assume that he'll play Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. Those players are good as CDMs, but they're not going to give you anything going forward, nothing at all. So the creative onus then will be on the front 3, will be on Marcus Rashford, Harry Kane, and I think he will go with Sterling, because I do believe that he trusts Sterling and his faith is in Sterling, and he will give Sterling a clean sheet to show what he can do. I think that Sterling will be replaced in that starting lineup as the tournament goes on, because Sterling is not a very good player. Let's be honest, he's not a very good player. And let's be honest, Foden is better than him, Mount is better than him, you can play Mount on the right wing as well, and Sancho is better than him. They're all better than Raheem Sterling. So I do expect Raheem Sterling to be replaced, but I think for this first game against Croatia, Gareth Southgate will go with the players that he trusts. So the creative onus will be on the front 3 players only. You know, it will be only on the front 3 players. Yes, you've got your wing backs going forward, or it's either Reece James or Kieran Trippier. I went with James, and then you got Ben Chilwell as a left wing back. I think Ben Chilwell will play ahead of Shaw as a left wing back, because Ben Chilwell is better than Shaw in attacking areas of the game, and that's what you want your wing backs to do. You want your wing backs to go forward and be attacking as possible. So I do think he'll go with Ben Chilwell. That team, I think they can beat Croatia for the simple fact that Croatia don't have much firepower. Croatia can create opportunities, they will keep the ball, but they don't have the firepower to kill England off. So I do think you're either looking at, guys, a draw or England victory. But it's going to be an entertaining game. It's a replica of the World Cup semi-final where Croatia beat England in the World Cup semi-final. So let's see how these teams fare up. couple years down the line, let's see has anything changed. I'm excited to see England, how they play with their talent that they have, especially the talent going forward. And I'm also excited to see how well Croatia control that game, because I do think Croatia will control the game. So I'm excited, guys. Let's see. Hit that like button, guys, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be giving you all your content that you need for the Euros. Hit that subscribe button and smash that like button. I'll see you all for the match review of this game.